me again, posting a little late about my kickboxing challenge. I think the last update I did was in week 3 of the challenge, and here we are, week 8.5 after the 6-week challenge has ended. Today is also another milestone. It's exactly 1 year since I moved from Montana to Colorado, and exactly 1 year since I started my weight loss journey. So I want to talk about a little bit of both. As far as the kickboxing challenge goes, I met the goal, which was to lose 25 pounds in 6 weeks. But I would say, in honesty, I only lost about 21 pounds because 4 to 5 pounds kind of flew right back on after I won the challenge. And the reason is because I crash dieted the last week and a half and worked out really hard, really restricted calories. But it's a challenge, it's supposed to be harder than usual, so I was kind of expecting some of that weight to come back. But all in all, I'm still really happy with the progress I made and the changes that I saw in my body. So talking about the kickboxing challenge, so it was 6 weeks of at least 3 kickboxing workouts a week and a really strict nutrition guide. If it wasn't on the nutrition guide, I couldn't have it, which eliminated some of my favorite things like cream in my coffee. That was the main thing. And I had to incorporate protein shakes into my day, which was something I didn't enjoy. I don't get a lot out of protein shakes, or at least I didn't feel like I did. So throughout the 6 weeks, I discovered that protein shakes do appear to make a difference. I felt like my appetite was more manageable, and I also did feel like maybe that was why my weight was going down pretty fast early on in the challenge. I also really enjoyed the personal instruction that I gained at kickboxing class. It was really nice to have somebody come and say, hey, you're doing it this way, you really should be doing it this way, and giving me tips like finding out the proper way to do a hook. I could really feel it in the back of my arms versus how I was originally doing it, which was swinging my arm out, which was not correct. The downside of it is that there's traveling. It's harder to work into your day versus at-home workouts, which is what I would normally do, where I can set my alarm clock and in half an hour be ready to work out. With the kickboxing, I had to drive for 20 minutes. I need to make sure I could get ready, and then of course there's the class itself. So that's a little bit of a downer. And then of course, it's expensive. It's more expensive to go to a kickboxing studio or a yoga studio than it is to practice in your own home. And you have to schedule these things, whereas in your own home you can kind of work out on a whim. I personally keep a schedule, a time that I set aside to work out every day, because then otherwise it would probably get away from me. But if I want to throw in an extra workout, it's really easy to do that. Or if something comes up and I need to adjust my time, I don't have to call a studio, I don't have to worry about cancellation fees or anything like that. So that was, for me, kind of the drawbacks to going to a studio. So marking my 1 year, almost 100 pounds down, I have done most of my steps in very pragmatic, I feel sustainable ways. The kickboxing challenge was something new, something exciting. I wanted to break out of my comfort zone of always working out at home. So I wouldn't suggest restricting yourself to the point that I did and exercising to the point that I did in the last week and a half. And no, I'm not a fitness trainer, I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a nutritionist, I do not have any type of degree in any type of fitness or sports or anything like that. I am just somebody who has struggled with my weight, and I have figured out along the road some of the things that work for me, some of the things that don't work for me, and with my body type, lifestyle, whatever, what I can and cannot do. And I wouldn't mind sharing that. Please don't mind the mess that you are going to see. It's been a very rough month. I am the mother of 4 kids that are doing public school from home, and none of them are on the same schedule, so trying to keep up with that and everything else, there's going to be some mess, so just kind of ignore it. So, first moving to Colorado, I was 100 pounds heavier. I prefer not to say the exact weight. And I started with going for walks. I actually started with going for short walks. I started focusing more on nutrition probably first, but then I would walk my kids to school and walk to pick up my kids. And round trip, it's about 1.5 miles, so I would get about 3 miles in a day doing that. And when I was home while the kids were in school last year, I kept myself busy. I did a lot of cleaning, and I worked in our yard. I went and did shopping. I focused on meal prep. I focused on healthy foods. For me, healthy foods includes all the major food groups, lots of veggies and lots of fruits, minimal to no fast food meals, and a very small amounts of desserts. So I tried to track, like sugars and stuff like that and keep it minimal. And then for me, I eat carbs. I try to have at least 1 carb meal a day. And when I say carb meal, I mean like a baked potato with dinner or rice or pasta. But I usually only do it in 1 meal, whether that's breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So I try to do that. Or if it's, I feel like I've been doing a lot of working out or the carb portions are small, it might be in 2 meals. But for me, I tend to keep the carbs kind of low. So that's just what I started doing, really focusing a lot on implementing healthy eating and then going for walks. And having dogs, I started adding to the walks. So when I got home from taking my kids to school, I started taking my dogs out, and I would walk them anywhere from 1 mile to 3 miles. So adding that in, I was getting anywhere from 3 to 6 miles a day, depending on how far we walked with the dogs and etc. Then I moved on to adding in workout routines at home, which is where the videos came in, and I will show you that. So as far as working out, I started with this one, 30-day shred with Jillian Michaels. I think she's a pretty good trainer, honestly. But those were only 20 minutes and it had 3 levels. And so I started with adding 1 workout routine to my day with the walks. And then I just kept the other changes that I had made, the healthy eating, lots of fruits and vegetables, and making sure that I was move, like, cleaning my house, going outside to do yard work, or shopping, just kind of keeping myself busy. If I ran out of things to do, I could usually find something to do. That's one of the things that I figured out. There's usually always something that I can do to just kind of keep myself busy and active. And I would say I did the Jillian Michael thing for about a month and a half when I decided to start doing Beachbody, and I started with Turbo Jam. And what I love about Turbo Jam is it has a lot of exercises, and it's a lot of like kickboxing, dance, and stuff like mingled, put together, lots of cardio involved, which for me, I need a lot of cardio. And so that's what I did for a long time. And then I started focusing more on yoga. For me, one of the keys has been finding workouts that I enjoy doing. I do not like running. I know a lot of people swear by it. I hate it. So if I had to lose weight by running, it just wouldn't happen. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it at all. So big key factor, finding workouts that I enjoy and can commit to. And for me, that was kickboxing, yoga, HIIT training, things that incorporate dance and different styles of martial arts, and honestly, some variety. There's a lot of exercises I enjoy, and there's a lot I don't. If it's in a workout like Beachbody or Jillian Michaels, usually the things that I really dislike I can get through because it's going to be minimal. But a full out just go on the treadmill or go outside and run for miles and miles wouldn't happen for me. I would not lose weight. So I really think it's important to kind of play with different exercises and find the ones that are enjoyable and that you can commit to doing every day, which is why I decided to try the kickboxing challenge, because I had really enjoyed everything that I had tried that had kickboxing involved in it. I found out pretty quickly that the kickboxing on the videos is quite a bit different than going into an actual studio. So, I mean, right now the kickboxing challenge is over, and it does cost over $100 a month. And everything that I looked at that's like that, like if it's a yoga studio or anything to do with a personal trainer, it tends to be like $100 to $200 a month, or 3 sessions or whatever. And I feel like that's a little steep right now, especially since with Beachbody you can purchase a workout for the same price and you can use that workout 3, 6 months, even a year. One of the things I love about Beachbody and Turbo Jam is when I go back and do the same workouts, and I've gotten stronger and thinner, I can still do the moves to the point that I'm out of breath and I'm pushing my body, because they give you such a wide variance. When I first started, I modified everything. I went slower, I didn't jump as high, all that kind of stuff. So now when I do those same workouts, I focus a lot more on the movement itself and not just moving around, if that makes sense. I, try to jump higher, I try to squat lower, really check my form. But then that was the bonus to the kickboxing studio, because some form problems were still there, and it was really nice to have that person come along and really show me the right way to do it, and I did feel the difference. So I don't know, I'm not really sure how that math works out because I haven't done it. So when I started doing Beachbody to the point that I started doing the kickboxing challenge, I lost 70 pounds, and that was probably at least 8 months, rough estimate, of like when I just started with walks and nutrition changes versus when I started doing 20-minute workouts with Jillian's, or the 10-minute workout things, and then going to Beachbody and doing Beachbody every day. So, and then taking out the 6 weeks. So then 6 weeks of kickboxing, I'm going to say I lost 20 to 21 pounds that have stayed off, and then the 5 pounds of crash dieting, which are going to come off because I'm still working out. I'm still keeping up with, going for my walks and making sure I'm moving around and still doing the healthy eating, because it's not just for me, it's for my kids. Living as a very overweight person, it's not something you want for your children. You don't want them to follow in those footsteps. So that's a huge thing. So again, 1 year, almost 100 pounds down. Very excited about that. And moving into the future, right now I'm going back to home workouts, going back to Beachbody. I started Insanity. Insanity is not my favorite, but what makes me happy is I did try Insanity once before and I couldn't even get through the warm-up, and now I'm making it through the entire workouts. I am modifying though. So that's what I mean about going at your own level. Turbo Jam, I'm able to follow really, really well now, and it's like my go-to. I know I can really burn a lot of calories. I've got these workouts almost memorized. Insanity is offering me challenge because I haven't done them before. I do not have these workouts memorized. They're doing new things, so it's going to work new muscles. So yeah, I'm having to modify again, but that's the fun of it. Maybe in the future I will do some type of in-studio thing again, work with a trainer again. I did really love that, and I wouldn't mind having that experience again, but it's just not something that right now I can commit to. We all have our own challenges amidst COVID. Mine would be that I have 4 children that are home all day that need school facilitating, and I'm now a full-time teacher's aide times 4. So there you go with that. That makes things a little challenging. So yes. So what I really want to go forward with the YouTube channel is probably just sharing my weight loss journey, maybe even some other things. My channel's called Physical's Mental Health, because I think that being a healthy person is comprised of your physical body, your mental state, and also your spiritual health, whatever that is for you. So I think it's good to share all sorts of things and to be able to be open and honest with each other. And so I'm excited to move forward and see what else happens along the way. And if you happen to follow my weight loss, just know that I started really slowly with pragmatic changes, and I lost almost 100 pounds in a year, which I think is really good. And moving forward, I'm still need to lose weight, but right now I'm going to start focusing a lot more on muscle tone, muscle definition, and building muscle in areas. I've noticed a lot of well, not a lot of, but more definition in my arms and legs, and that's something that I'm really enjoying, and I know that my husband is. It's not my goal to get super skinny. My personal preference is not super thin, and I know it's not my husband's preference, so that's not something that I'm interested in. Even though knowing I need to lose some more weight at this point, I think it's okay to look more at muscle and trying to slowly transition to that maintaining area. And the weight's going to come off slower now, and eventually I'm going to get to that point where I maintain, which has always been a challenge for me. It seems like I'm either losing or gaining. So we're going to move on, and hopefully other people can be inspired and be helped by what's worked for me. Thank you.